In 1940, in Gateshead, England, a young boy named Robert Hall would have a truly terrifying experience. Robert, aged 5 years old, with a friend, was sitting outside on a wall, watching the soldiers march off to World War II. After some time, Robert and his friend got cold and decided to walk back home as they were hungry. As they rounded the corner and started down the back lane, what they saw next would truly shock them. Robert and his friend would see some sort of strange, semi-transparent barrier they couldn't see well inside. As they went in, they were shocked to see a silver, bright, egg-shaped metallic craft around 12 to 14 feet in diameter, hovering in the street. Then, the boys would notice about 20 strange beings inside the barrier. They were different in their appearance. Some were small gray aliens between 2 to 4 feet. Another Robert described as really good looking, which was probably a Nordic alien. Robert even said there appeared to be a being big and hairy that looked like a Bigfoot. At this time, several other girls in the alley had seen the beings and began to panic. They were screaming and trying to climb over the barbed wire fence in front of the railroad tracks. During this time, one of the beings spoke to Robert and his friend. It spoke in perfect English and asked if it could examine Robert and his friend. Robert objected, but the entity still took both of them on their craft. Robert says they took blood from his neck and told him if he moved, he would be killed instantly. After this, they put a jelly-like substance where the blood was extracted. After this, the aliens told the boys they could go home. Robert ran home and told his parents, but they didn't believe him. His parents believed the soldiers were playing a prank. Robert says that on the day of the sighting, soldiers witnessed the craft, and one even fired his weapon at it. It made no impact though. One day later, the men in black arrived. They told Robert if he spoke of the events, he would disappear. While Robert believed this was the end of the situation, he would have another encounter just days later. As Robert was playing in the neighborhood, a gray alien tried to surprise him and kidnap him. Luckily, Robert's uncle saw the event and rushed to help. Robert's uncle ran over and smashed the gray alien in the head with a coal shovel. Robert's uncle killed the being. Robert's uncle put the gray alien corpse into a sack and sent Robert to get help. Robert would grab policeman Sergeant Brooks. Brooks would then notify the army, and they would take the alien body. In the years that followed, Robert would be ridiculed for his story. Soon though, UFO investigator Richard Hall began investigating the case. Richard would talk to Robert's sister, who was able to corroborate many of the things Richard said. For example, she said many officials stopped over to their house the day after the sighting. Richard was able to determine that all the details of Robert's story checked out. The street names were all accurate, as well as the name of the sergeant on the case. Richard would also say that when the army arrived to collect the body, his entire neighborhood was forced to evacuate from their homes. As they came outside, soldiers went in the homes searching for the beings. The case of Richard Hall is surely a fascinating one. There's credibility in the fact that this event occurred years before the Roswell crash, and also the UFO craze of the 1950s. One thing that does lead many to doubt the story are the other witnesses, the children who saw the craft. It doesn't appear any of them ever came forward. If this event is true though, there certainly is one key takeaway. That's the variety of aliens that were witnessed. It appears that the gray and Nordic aliens were seen as well as others. Some UFO researchers believe gray aliens and Nordics are separate species and don't intermix. Others believe the opposite and suggest a hierarchy structure exists between the two. Some speculate the Greys work for the Nordics. Still, the majority of alien abductees report seeing just one alien type. One further implication was the sighting of a Bigfoot-type creature. Many have suggested that Bigfoot is extraterrestrial or interdimensional in nature. Could this be why so many have seen him in the woods, yet no body has ever been discovered? While we might never know if this event really happened, this truly is an interesting case from England.